Hello and welcome to the ExtremeZPodcast, the only Dokkan podcast making your favorite talk show format relevant again. I'm your host, Epic Mewtwo.
And I'm your co-host, Kayvon.
And welcome back to episode 16 of the ExtremeZPodcast. How are y'all doing? We're having a pretty good night, or at least I am. Kayvon, actually, how are you doing right now? Still sick.
Long day, I'll say that much.
Yikes, but we are here now. We're chilling with some new news. I know that literally it feels like every week we say, oh, there's not a lot of news, and then we spend like half an hour on news, but this time there really is not a lot of news. Like literally this time. But we are going to be talking about, before we get to the news, wait, that actually doesn't make sense. No, after we get to the news, but we're going to talk about this before we get to the news. Today's topic, Dokkan community, cause and effect. What happens when the game does something? How does the community react? What happens when the community does something? How does the game or the developers react? We're going to be talking about that later. But for now, let's get into the news. So, of course, starting off with JP, we finally, on JP, have gotten the, I almost said Beerus Monaka instead of Monaka Beerus, but I guess either kind of works. The Monaka Beerus event. This was an event that came out on Global a hot minute ago, which introduced the free-to-play Monaka, which, Beerus is actually inside, him because it's the costume. So very cool on that one. Definitely glad that came to JP. There's no doubt in my mind that it would eventually, but it was just like, kind of a long time coming on that one. Regardless, though, there was a bit of a error, it seemed like, on JP. Oh, I know. Basically, it seems that some of the some of the bugs were fixed in one of the newest updates, and there was some Dragon Stones given out. Is basically the issue, right? Just a couple of different things, which is good. It does seem like all of the big bugs that we've had recently on JP are now fixed, so that's good. I'm glad that they fixed Broly before the tournament.
Thankfully.
Yeah, because that would have been pretty bad. I believe that was also included in this. Like, they finally fixed all of that. Anyway, though, moving on, we have, that's just the Monaka Story event again. We have the Rage Vegeta event came back, I'm assuming to kind of coincide with, the Beerus Monaka event being there. And then, as well, to also coincide with that, we had the LR Beerus banner go live. It's actually a pretty solid banner, I'm not going to lie. It has definitely some very, very good unfeatured units on it. There's only a couple of cards on here that honestly are, not really worth your stones. But most on here are, so that's pretty nice. It's a decent LR banner, and Beerus is really good. Also, I just noticed on DBZ Space, they call him Wills. It's really funny, considering his name was Bills, and now it's, anyway.
Maybe that's because Whis is there, like, Bills, Wills, and...
That's their fusion name when his name is Bills?
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Oh, instead of Weirus, it's Wills. Oh, goodness.
Oh, yikes.
Anyway. Let's purge that pot real quick.
We're going to move on from that. Yeah, heck hi, that boy. The Learn How to Fly event has just come back to JP, as well as the Raditz event, as well as Bulma's Genius Battle Prep, of course, in preparation for the brand new Budokai Tenkaichi, the 30th. And this was sort of...
You can't just say World Tournament, you gotta be fancy.
Nah, I gotta be Japanese. I'm a Japanese news guy.
Boy.
This was a little bit of a special World Tournament, though, because it was the first World Tournament in a little bit that was not themed to the actual World Tournaments in the show. And we are now in a little bit of a period where it's going to be tournaments that happened off-screen until we get to a tournament that did happen on-screen, and then, eventually it'll be, like, made up.
Remember when Gotenks was in a World Tournament?
I mean, he was. That's what Mighty Mask came from. So, well, actually, wait, that's not... Gotenks. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, whatever.
Doesn't matter. Point being, Goten and Trunks are in the tournament. Regardless, though, so the prize card for this one is a brand new tech base form Gotenks. The card art is very nice. Very decent card as well. And with this World Tournament, too, a addition was made finally to the Dragon Ball ticket banner. They updated it a little while ago, but I'm glad that they just updated
this banner needs an LR on it.
Definitely. There should definitely be a unfeatured LR in this ticket banner, because I think that would be really cool.
Definitely.
But They just added a new tech mercenary, Tau, a brand new, I believe he's STR. Yes, Android 8, and then a new SR Ox King. So very cool stuff.
It was very good, by the way, just for an SR.
Mm-hmm. So they're giving you some more options for stuff to pull, which is nice. I've actually been able to pull everything but the Android 8 so far, so that'll be really cool to keep going on that. Nonetheless, though, of course, as usual, the unfeatured banner and the World Tournament prize banner. One cool addition to this one is the Texel is now like the main big boy. I don't know if he was on the last one. I think this is the first time he's been introduced.
I think this is his debut, yeah.
Right. So very cool. For those of you who weren't able to get Texel, i.e. me, you're not able to get him from that. And actually,
you don't have Texel, pull him.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I have LSL, so whatever.
They are completely different units, but okay.
I mean, yeah, well, I mean, like, TURLR, so.
I mean, this guy low-key better, though.
Really? Okay, well, not the discussion for right now. Moving on, though. So then as well, we got a little bit of a notice. It's nice that they always do this. They're like, hey, use your bluestone, please. Don't forget it. So, very nice.
Don't be like me and forget to use your redstone.
Yeah, I know you did forget that, didn't you?
Mm.
So this was another interesting note that may or may not... not what I was thinking of. Let me unlink that connection and give it to another connection. So, there was a notice on JP that Android 4.4 is no longer going to be supported by Dokkan. So, basically, if you're running an Android version of 4.4 or earlier, you will not be able to run Dokkan.
I'm going to check my Nox about this.
Yes, that also does apply to you as well. Because anybody who is running Nox, I believe, has 4, 5. I think they skip 6 and go right to 7. So now would definitely be a good time to update your Nox emulator, so that you're not stuck not being able to play the game.
Make sure your accounts are linked, by the way.
Right, make sure all of your accounts are linked, especially if you got accounts just like sitting on.
I'll be honest with you guys. Don't even bother using transfer codes. Go make a Facebook account and link it.
Just make a burner account and just use it for income. Simple as that. That's what I did. But anyway, so make sure that you guys, are keeping that in the back of your head again, too, if you have a bunch of, like, re-rolls that you're sitting on.
Remember, you have until mid-June, so
yes,
you got a while.
Make sure to update those before then, so you don't lose your accounts. Moving on, the Budokai Tenkaichi happened, and I believe it's still going on right now. There's a little bit of time
yes, in the last, 7 hours.
Nice. I will probably be chilling with the boys for that, so I don't think I'll get the Go Tanks, but oh well.
Oof.
Anyway, though. So then everything for the World Tournament went live, and that's literally it for JP. Like I said, basically not that much. My friend, it is to you.
To duel, I mean, what? Okay.
To the end. Anyway, go ahead.
Price adjustments were made to peel off Trove in the shop. Nobody cares. The maintenance got updated times for the server update? No. Version update. There we go. That's the right word. Hold on, let me get a sip of water real quick.
Hold up. Hashtag drink water, everybody. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, there we go. I made up for what's going to happen in the second part of the podcast.
Yup.
Help me in advance. The Family Kamehameha summon is on. 30 stones for one of these guys, I guess. Sure. Super Warrior Slam victory will be mine.
Love that one.
Family Kamehameha EZA is out. And version 3.3, no, 4.3.2, there we go.
There you go.
Release incoming, and then it release.
And it also brought with it some problems, didn't it?
Oh, I'll explain that at the end. But before that, the Goku and Arale becoming LR hit global way sooner than it should have.
Yay!
Like this happened after 4th year for JP. Like we already have it, so
very nice. And there's no reason why they couldn't. You know what I mean?
True, but like it's weird because like it was technically themed with Dragon Ball, so it was out of nowhere they released it now.
That is true. Oh, maybe they're planning something exclusive on global. Who knows?
I mean, with what's been going on lately,
bruh.
So the new update released. We got the boost system, more stuff we shouldn't have gotten yet, but
hey,
why not?
Baby.
The boost system, the more optimized sorting and stuff, more options, the ability to look at essays and TUR arts on banners.
Wow, that really is soon. That came out just like a month ago or two.
Exactly.
Isn't this
And
also the first time? No, sorry. You can finish what you're going to say first.
There are also like a bit of bug fixes, and I know what you're about to say. Yes, this is the first time Global and JP are on the same app version.
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy.
Which is wild.
That's never actually happened before.
Yeah. Continuing on, there's a little glitch with active skills right now. That the sound just blasts everything. That's fun.
What do you mean?
Like the volume gets really high during active skills.
Isn't that a good thing?
Not when your volume is muted.
Wait, it breaks it when it's muted?
Yes.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whack.
Yeah, big whack.
Some characters got categories fixed now.
Mm-hmm.
And now some big stuff actually for Global.
Mm-hmm.
Gohan, Goku, and Goten Day Part 2. With this released more special missions, a very nice Dragonstone sale, the story event as described, an Arale event. Not the one for any of the farmable characters, but okay.
Sad.
Sure. Both Broly events are here daily. Mm-hmm. The Super Saiyan 3 and the OG Legendary Super Saiyan 1, along with the ECA. I wonder why. Hidden Potentials are all active over the weekend. I love this. It's so good. Orbs, gimme. I just slammed my tooth. Ow.
Nice.
The Lord Slug event is on Whoopi. Otherworld event, nobody cares. I mean, unless you need to awaken those guys, I guess. And the new Tech LR Broly Legendary Summon banner is global. Yay for exclusives.
Crazy. And also, it is marks the first instance of a unfeatured LR with a active skill.
Yes, you are right.
Which is quite
very whack. Unfeatured LR with an active skill and a transformation mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Whack.
Very interesting.
Battlefield is a new season of Battlefield is live. Elder Kai banner is coming out soon. The Raditz event is coming back, along with the Goku and Friends Are Back event. And everything is 30% off in the Baba Shop.
Don't you mean the Yo Son Goku and Friends Return event? That's what it's actually called.
Is it? Like,
yeah.
Am I going crazy? Hold on.
Or maybe that's not... I don't know. Did they change it on Global? That's literally what the movie is called. Yo Son Goku and Friends Return.
Yeah, they changed it on Global. Thank you, Global.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, Lord Slug went live. All the ECAs are active. The story event went live. Everything just went live, basically. And another issue. Oh, yeah. Some characters weren't appearing when filtering by certain requirements, basically.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. So that's basically all the global news, except for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, players on Nox,
or just
and I think also BlueStacks also.
Yeah.
Those are the main two. And even some people on their tablets or whatever.
M phones, yeah.
Yeah, like, mostly I think it's tablets, but anyways. When updating to the new version, a lot of people's Dokkans just straight up would not open. You'd open up the app, 3 seconds pass, and unfortunately Dokkan Battle has stopped.
Jubio Keika.
So, as of right now, there is no fix for it, like, actual fix.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a version of Mimu,
yeah.
whatever, that can play Dokkan, but in my experience it is horrible, and I regret everything, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Right. You can
so hopefully this gets fixed soon.
Yeah,
It's already been too long, in my opinion.
Well, you got to remember, I don't want to say this because it'll hurt you, but it's the truth. They don't really care about emulators, one, which is, I know,
Well,
dumb, but...
That's the thing. It's not just emulators.
No, I know, but still. The other thing, too, that you got to keep in mind is, keep in mind how long literally the most game-breaking glitch in Dokkan history was in the game for.
Low-key, I feel like this is more game-breaking because it literally doesn't let you log in.
Yeah, but it's only for certain people. That affected everybody.
Yes, but you can still log in.
Fair
Nobody
enough,
could not
yeah.
play the game.
Oh, no. But then you can also just go to another device.
And which a lot of people might not have another device.
You could just use your PC or your friend's cell phone.
How?
What do you mean?
How use PC if the emulators don't work?
Use the other emulators, I'm saying. Like the one that you're using right now.
Yes, but you get my point, though.
Nah, I see what you're saying.
Anyhow, that's pretty much it for the news.
Yeah. So, again, really short. This one was actually, like, really, really short. We were kind of hoping, actually, funny enough, we'll give you a little bit of insider info. We recorded the, like, discussion part of this yesterday, and recording this bit tonight because we were kind of anticipating that we were going to get Super Saiyan Transforming Goku news
Hopefully
tonight.
tomorrow, since World Tournament is ending.
Also, I'm sure it will be, considering the curse of the Extreme Z podcast, where whenever we upload the podcast, brand new news comes out. So,
yeah. Twitter reveal right after this goes on, like this recording finishes.
Yeah, we're calling it right now. If that does happen, comment in the comment section below.
Yeah, yep.
Anyway, though, today, our topic of discussion, Dokkan community, cause and effect. Theo, in about, 10 seconds, can explain it a little bit better than Theo in the now. So he's going to explain to you what that actually means. But sit tight through this ad, and he will show you...
Better watch.
There it is.
Gotta always do it.
Of course. He'll show you the way to the way. Got him.
The way. The
All
way.
right, just watch the ad. We'll be back in a second. And we are back. We hope you watch that ad to the fullest.
You also know you already have to watch mine.
He don't even have to tell you. You should already know, bro.
Exactly.
We're 16 episodes in. The threat should be established. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, please.
Exactly. Give us money.
No, stop. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about Dokkan community, cause and effect. Now, what does that actually mean? Because that's just a fancy title.
I don't know what it means either. I'm here for the ride.
Was the only way that we could sort of format the title to kind of talk about what we want to talk about here. So, we're going to go over like two kind of main points that have sort of a lot of little things inside them. This is just more of one of those like discussion kind of like free balling sort of things, like where me and Kayvon just sort of bounce ideas off of each other, just kind of related to the main topic, right? So, two main parts. How the game affects the community. So, cause, game does something, effect, community does this. And then, we're also going to talk about how the community affects the game. So, the community does this, and then the game does this as a result of the community. Sometimes they can be intertwined, but we'll talk about that. All right, so first we're going to talk about how the game affects the community. Okay. So the way that the game affects the community, to me, in like different instances, is very interesting, because we have a very nice community most of the time. But at the same time, sometimes it can be a little, well, you read the Reddit, you know.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's always interesting to me when something new comes out to kind of see the community response, because we get all different kinds of people talking about this, right? We get, obviously, our most expected people, the bigger well-known names in the community sort of talk about it. And then we also get, tons of different people commenting about it and giving their opinion on, whatever it might be, whether it's a new card, new game mode, what have you, right? But it's always interesting seeing what the community thinks is good and what the community thinks is bad.
Yeah.
It's always just interesting seeing the reaction, right? Because sometimes the community has a very, like, not resignated, what's the word I'm looking for? Joint isn't the right word either. Help me here. Like, together response. What's the word I'm looking for?
Unanimous?
Yes, that's actually perfect. Thank you. A unanimous sort of response to something. Like, give me an example of a
Wait, pardon?
unanimous response from the community. Like, something happened from the game, and then the community altogether was like, this good or this bad. Ooga booga.
That's a hard one, actually.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the community split on issues usually.
Definitely.
Okay, well then let's talk about, so just for an easy
Do you
one,
have anything?
top grossing then. Top grossing is always something, well, most of the time, I would say.
Yes, but actually no.
Well, what are you thinking of specifically?
Well, because in the top grossing example, there's always those people who are like, oh, we only get this.
Okay, but that's the minority, and
But
also,
unanimously, yeah, mostly.
also
It is always positive.
Also, the way the top grossing has been done, it's kind of like, well, it's sort of changed recently, but the pattern is consistent, so I can kind of safely
We're
say
talking
it's
global, JP, or both.
both. Well, more so global, actually. Because it's like, JP, it's like one store, 30, the other store, 100, right? And then with global, it's like, it used to be the stupid, like, 7 stones per country thing, and now it's just like one country gets it. France, you beautiful people, you know.
France always getting us those 30.
Exactly. Everybody prospers, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, so that's a unanimous response, right? Whenever something like that happens, and it's good. But that's sort of like an expected one, right? But then you sort of get, you get some different, like, sometimes you get some responses that are kind of not what you would expect, or maybe like a different perspective than you would have thought of. Like, let's just take, for example, again, we're probably going to do a whole episode on the 300 stones thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, right, I would think that most people would have been happy about that, right? Because it's free stones,
Well, yes, but at the same time, before the actual stones were given out, everybody was rioting, practically, at the thought of rigged rates.
True.
So it's a heads and tails situation there.
True. Then maybe we won't touch on that for the example, because that's kind of a bad example.
I mean, it actually is a good example of both sides, if anything.
All right.
Because it's unanimously good and bad.
True. That is true, because then
like, everybody agreed that the glitch caused so much problems.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody also agreed that the 300 stones was a good, basically bribe not to sue.
Yeah. That's true. And then, but the community was really split, though, it seems, and kind of is still split on that day of just that idea of 300 stones. Like, I do think that that's also mostly because of misunderstanding. But
Wait, pardon me, you cut off.
I said, the community, even to this day, is still kind of split on the whole 300 stones thing. I do think that mostly it's, people who just don't understand what happened in the situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, first of all, an issue that big has never happened before, so I do think that, like, our cause is just. But,
the thing is, not to bring another gotcha game, but One Piece Treasure Cruise, who was made also by Bandai, like by a sub company or whatever.
I don't know. Bandai has, like, basically a monopoly on gotcha games, but
like,
anyway.
The global version of One Piece Treasure Cruise did have rigged rates.
Right.
So people were always like, when this happened in Dokkan, everybody was in shock to see if it actually happened.
Right. Because it was
and it looked like it did.
Yeah, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just visual glitch.
God bless you, Dokkan devs. Thank you. Thank you for not being scumbags.
Much.
Yeah, but that's like a new level of scum.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But nonetheless, though, right? So I definitely do think that is like, a bit of a misunderstanding. Obviously still that people don't understand why the 300 stone thing happened. But at the same time...
There's still going to be people who are always just jealous.
Right, and that's what I think is interesting, too,
down.
is that at the same time, there's still people who understand the situation and still think that it was dumb. Which, maybe they still don't understand the gravity of the situation. It's literally against Japanese law.
Yeah, it's against, well,
all law, I think.
British is against any law, yeah.
Yeah. But I just say that because, the Japanese are very strict on their gotcha laws.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, though...
Even though only one technically exists.
What do you mean?
Well, remember the only real law is the fact you can't have two cards become one.
True.
Everything else is essentially guidelines.
Sorry.
Anyhow, that's not the conversation.
Buchigiri, looking at you. But, but nonetheless, though, I don't know. It's always kind of interesting, too. And just, like, seeing what, like, let's even say, for example, right, the new Goku event, okay? The community opinion, I mean, even on you and me, right? I didn't mean, why did I say on you? I meant between you and me. Our opinions are still mixed on that. Like, again, we're...
Goku event?
Yes.
Okay.
We're both, we're both very unanimous on the fact that the prizes are hot garbage.
Yeah.
But we both kind of, we disagree on, like just how the event is and just, the fact that it exists in its current state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about it. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a good challenge. And then that's your cue.
I mean, looking on it, like I accept the event is supposed to be difficult, yes, but it would be nice if more units could be usable on it. Mm-hmm. Because any unit that doesn't stack defense is borderline useless.
Right.
90% of the units in the game are useless.
But isn't that a good thing because it encourages a different kind of gameplay?
Yes, it does, but
yes,
the pool is so limited. Pretty much, the pool is so limited.
True. If you don't have the units, then you can't do it. But I think, then that goes back to something that I think about the event. That like, I think that's the point because I think the whole point of the event is that it's meant for whales who spend a lot on the game and have a lot of different cards and have basically every card in the game. Have many dupes in their characters and who would have that literally like the top 10%, right? Or the 10%.
At the same time, at that launch, the rewards are pointless. So why even do the event in the first place?
And that I think we can both agree on. The rewards in that case are pointless. You're right. So and then that almost brings us full circle where it's like it's back to the rewards are the problem, not the event.
Mainly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. But again, then our opinions are different, right? Anyway,
you don't think the rewards are a problem?
No. Like how the event is what I'm saying. We both agree that the rewards are a problem. Because they're stupid. They're really bad. Yes, 5 SR white hot face off Gokus that I
yes, of course.
don't need anymore. Thank you. Yeah, I do agree the rewards are pretty silly. But nonetheless, though, I don't know. It's just sort of interesting to see like the different things that happen like in the game, how the community reacts, Or like even when a new LR was released, or we'll just say, for example, right, we're getting all the hot takes today, right? Kale and Caulifla, okay? They were released, and the community, I don't know, I think it definitely leaned more to like, yeah, these guys are busted and probably shouldn't be in the game yet. But, a lot of people, I think definitely, I don't know if Truth thinks that or not. We definitely know that he's a big fan of Kale and Caulifla, A lot of people would say maybe a little bit too much.
Definitely. Like, no offense to the man, but It's time to stop.
Careful what you say. It's going to be on the podcast eventually.
Nah, if Truth is by any chance watching this, he can have his own opinion. It's his opinion at the end of the day. He's allowed to do what he wants, but it's wrong.
Dang. Dude, shouting flames. That's not what I meant to say. Spitting fire. There we go. I guess that is the same thing. Wait, spitting fire is literally shouting flames, isn't it?
Bruh.
Huh. Woke. Anyway, galaxy brain.
Off topic again, but what's new?
That's okay. But yeah. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to like touch on that a little bit because I just think it's always interesting to see how the community reacts to different like things.
Kale and Khalifa is definitely a very controversial topic.
Or like, you know, take even an even a newer unit than them now. The Go Bros, right?
Yeah.
Gohan and Goten. They, you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, they're kind of bad. And then I know me and you actually do agree on this one. We're like, yo, they're low-key pretty fire.
They're low-key kind of busted.
Yeah, they're low-key kind of busted. Right?
Active skill has way too much restrictions, though, but what can you do?
I almost think that's a good thing, though.
Way too much restrictions that are unneeded.
Fair enough.
Because, like, when only facing one enemy, most of the time you are. So why is it there?
Right. But like,
and 3 turns is not even a problem.
Useless for SBR.
Not against the last enemy.
True.
Which usually, it's always that one enemy. You know what I mean? It's always that one enemy that hacks you out of your Dokkan mode for the last stage.
But sometimes it's 2. Like there's Boo and Bobbity.
Well, no, you know what I mean? Because like, say you're on the second stage, and you have one more enemy left, and you're about to hit the Dokkan mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so with them, you just use the active skill and go to the next stage.
True. That's true.
Instead of wasting the Dokkan on the second stage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got you.
That's what I meant.
Right. Because a lot of people still think they're pretty bad, right?
I mean, I will say, as bad as it is, you kind of need to pull an LR. Like, you need to pull the LR to make your own opinion on them.
Yeah, Bardock, looking at you, Kayvon.
I mean, Goten and Trunks still did more than him on a team, but...
On a what?
On a 130 lead.
That doesn't matter. That's not the point.
And he was on 170.
Comparing them to Goten and Trunks, where did that come from?
Goten and Trunks is apparently one of the worst LRs.
Huh. I don't know if I agree with that. Anyway.
We're still going off topic.
Kind of, but kind of not really. But
this is a subtle pull post. Very subtle.
No, what was I gonna say? I had something in mind about and that's another thing. I don't know. I don't really hear anyone talking about. This is another thing that's kind of interesting. Usually, when something new comes to the game, people seem to talk about it a lot, right?
Yeah.
You know, cause, new thing added, effect, speak. But like, you know,
effect, complain.
Yikes. But like, you know, when something new comes, usually people talk about it. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but I really feel like, I mean, you know, there was definitely some talk about it when it first got added, but active skills, right? With the Super Saiyan 4s, right?
It feels like it's really been like... Sorry to cut you off, but...
No, go ahead.
It feels like they're added, like, oh my goodness, so amazing. And then, like, the next unit I got is just, like, something completely normal.
Right. It seems like nobody really talks about it anymore, or talks about how busted they are. Because I'm a big advocate for that, and you know that. Granted,
like, we haven't gotten enough active skills yet.
How many do we have? We have Goku, Vegeta, Gobros, Broly, Trunks, Zamasu, Bipan. Who am I missing?
Well, here's the thing. Well, Trunks and Zamasu do have an active skill, yes.
But it's different. That is true.
But it doesn't do anything really in terms of, like, what the active skill, like, passively got leaked way back when.
Wait, what do you mean?
like remember like giving yourself max key, Broly,
Yeah.
like with the active,
Mm-hmm.
like stuff like that. Like there was a bunch of others like changed the whole field,
I forgot Kid Goku.
stuff like that. Yeah, and he has a. I think he's. No, I was gonna say. Well, he's the only regular Dokkan Fest with a damaging active skill.
True. And they gave it to... Oh, by regular, you mean like non-transforming?
Well, I mean by non-LR.
Trunks and Zamasu.
They don't do damage.
Oh, with their active skill. True.
Yeah,
but
I'm talking
neither
about
does
like-
V-Pen.
That's why I'm saying. The B-Pan's not Dokkan Fest.
Okay, bro. Oh, wait.
Broly doesn't have an attack either. He just gives himself an attack.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have like,
Yeah.
an attack. Yeah.
Because you gotta remember, the active skill multiplier is like 500% or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty big for a Dokkan Fest unit.
You're talking about Goku, right?
Yeah, Kikoku.
And
Considering his will always crit if you get it, but...
so why do
Yeah.
you think that that's the case? That no one
What do
really
you-
talks about it anymore?
I really don't know.
I talk about it all the time. I'm like, yo, active skills are straight busted. I say it in literally like every video that active skills come up. I'm like, yo, I'm out here in the streets holding up a sign. Active skills are busted. Like,
I guess it's because we haven't had enough cards with just an active skill alone. Voice, work with me.
say that one more time.
We haven't had enough cards with just active skills alone. Like, think about it. Active skills were introduced during 4th year.
Yeah.
They already got intermingled with transformation units.
That is true. That does seem like a long step away, and 4th year wasn't even that long ago, but yeah, we already have them. That could also be due to like power creep and the game moving too fast, which has kind of been happening like for the past
Yes,
year
but
or so.
actually no.
Why not?
Well, because the quote-unquote meta with leader skills hasn't changed.
I'm not talking about leader skills. I'm just talking about like cards in general.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't know. Too many ways to judge a meta. We already had this conversation with Goresh.
We did have that. Shout out to Goresh. Go watch that. No, but on the real though, I do think that is kind of an interesting point that no one really talks about them anymore.
Yeah.
Because I personally think, they're really, really busted and not like they're awesome. I love them. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I like active skills as much as this guy. I think they're cool. I think it's awesome that it even adds more animations and, like assets to the game and all kinds of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're unnecessary in the current meta. 100%.
I just think, because looking at the active skills we have, 2 of them trigger transformations, 2 of them give boosts, and 3 of them are just attacks.
Which you could almost consider 2, because Goku and Vegeta are basically the same. But yes, I know what you mean.
Well, yes, but
Yes, but actually, no.
I think they need to release some more variety with the skills.
Maybe that's kind of what they're working on right now.
Yeah, because, I get it, the active skill transformation, is cool, but
It is.
it literally could have just been another transformation. It didn't need to be an active skill.
I guess that I see
Granted,
your
it
point.
does bring a thing of, it does bring a not chance, what am I saying? It does bring an aspect of strategy.
Yes, which I think is good.
Imagine if you can control when Turtle is transformed.
That'd be sick.
It would, because I would use him in his changed form all the time, because he's straight wild, and when he has 130% attack.
That is true. He is pretty.
But anyways.
He is pretty busted. But yeah, no, that is definitely a good point. I think that is undermining a little bit until you said that. Now I think you kind of it clicked in that way that it's sort of. I do think it doesn't. Okay, here. Let me put it this way. I agree with you that it's sort of unnecessary that it needs to be an active skill. But I also do agree with you in the way. Well, so I guess I don't disagree. Okay, hold on. Let me explain. So I agree with the fact that maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be an active skill. But I also agree with you that it's good because it's, a different aspect of strategy, right? You can keep building, or you can decide to go to your more powerful form right off the bat. But I think the way that you were kind of going about thinking about it was wrong, I guess, or not wrong.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't say that. Like, I think maybe what kind of like you're thinking without thinking it. Whoa.
Nani?
Is like, it doesn't need to be an active skill to do that. It could be anything else. Like, it doesn't have to be labeled as an active skill. That's sort of unnecessary. Like, I don't want them to introduce a new mechanic where it's like, choose when you transform, you know? But
Yeah,
that's
fair
basically
enough.
the same thing, right? But they're sort of just labeling it under an active skill. Like, it could be another button that's like, hey, transform now, you know?
Yeah, but I'm not saying like, I'm not saying there shouldn't be active skills that do that. I'm just saying like, I feel like there's
It's not really an active skill. It's just a different way to transform.
I do feel like that being an active skill is interesting though. But I feel like with how many active skills we have so far, they're all too samey.
But they're different, though.
Well, like I said, we don't like out of that whole
We don't have
spreadsheet.
enough. Yeah.
Out of that whole spreadsheet we saw during like 4th year, all those effects, we have the big attack, transformation, and a boost.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What are we missing, by the way, from that?
Like, imagine something like a hit with an active skill that guarantees to stun the enemy through their stun reduction.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, or like an active skill that guarantees an additional attack or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Do you ever think that they'll add an active skill in an easy A?
It's possible.
That would be
Easy
pretty...
change passives and active skills. Technically are part of a passive.
True. By technicality's sake, yes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. And that's another thing, too, that ties back. All of this happening in the game is affecting us to talk about it. Got him.
Yeah.
Now do you see where I was going with this?
Fair enough.
Are you
On
picking
the
up
topic of
what I'm
active
putting down?
skills now.
Huh?
And yeah, now I'm going to start rambling.
Oh, no. Well, we do. Go ahead and finish your thing, then we're going to move on to the next part.
Well, I was going to say with active skills, a good way to incorporate more would be more free units with them. Think about this. Out of these 7 active skills we have, 1 unit has an active skill that's free.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, out of all the transformation units, 1 out of them is free.
Wait, who?
Piccolo.
Oh, who? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't use them ever.
Like I get it, like, sure, premium units should obviously get that, but free-to-play, like, they've been shelling out free-to-play EZAs like candy.
Gogeta.
Like, new free-to-play unit,
Coat.
you're EZAing right away.
Coats.
Like, give us a free-to-play unit that when they Dokkan, they get an active skill.
Might as well have gave them.
Give us more free-to-play units to get transformations.
Okay, but
Give them a transformation with an active skill.
Are you just
with an EZA?
Wait, are you just saying that should happen, or like, what's your point?
It's something they should consider doing to bring more variety.
Oh, okay. To active skills, I see. Because then,
like, well, how boring would it be if, like, oh hey, they introduce active skills, they're only on LRs.
True.
How boring would that be for everybody to play?
Because then
nobody would be able to use them.
True, because then too they can add more variety. Like, not to say the free to play units these days are bad, because some are like literally better than summonable units. But like,
you cut off. Repeat that.
I said not that free to play units are bad these days. Some of them are even better than summonable units.
Yeah.
But excuse me. It could also bring in the aspect of like, I mean, I guess I can't say this considering B-Pan exists, but like the active skills, maybe for a free to play unit wouldn't necessarily be as good as a summonable unit's active skill. And so that also kind of adds some variety to it as well. Just like that it's, I don't want to say not as good, but like just at a different tier because it's free to play.
Here's the thing, especially if for some active skills, they wouldn't even need to nerf it or anything. Think about it this way. If we had an EZA unit free to play with an active skill, just because of how their stats are like, basically like free dupe summonable unit levels normally when they're rainbowed. If they got an an active skill attack that was like the ultimate damage or whatever, it naturally wouldn't do as much as something like Kid Goku or the LRs.
True, very true.
Because of their low stats.
Definitely.
And probably also low passive.
Okay, I get it.
But at the same time, it would still be some good damage.
Right. Okay. Definitely.
So for that, they would need to nerf it that much.
Right, I agree with you. Yeah.
But for other sort of like stuff they introduced, they might tone it down. Like if a unit had an attack buff to themselves, like Broly, maybe make it 20%, not 48.
Right, I got you.
Especially if they had a start of turn passive, but you got what I mean.
No, I understand.
We just need some more variety. Like, I love free-to-play EZAs, but like Akatsuki, this is the third time you showed a free-to-play EZA to
the class. Yeah, pretty much.
This has gone severely off topic, but
no,
kind
it's
of not.
okay. I mean, it's literally, again, it's sort of like, as Garesh would always say it in our one where we got featured. No. This ties back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Cause and effect, right? It's causing us to talk about it.
Exactly.
All right, now, as I take my 5th drink of water, I don't know how you're not dying over there. Have you taken a drink of water yet?
No, I did not get a bottle of water before this. I regret.
Oh my gosh. Hashtag stay hydrated. Everybody in the comments, make sure you take a drink of water right now.
I have 2 empty Gatorade bottles here.
I'll ship
Get here if you want to sponsor this video.
I'll ship you this water so you can get it by the end of the podcast. So you can
Yeah, of course.
overnight shipping. Oh, that actually won't get there in time. Dang it. Anyway. So moving on from that, right? I think we got what we were trying to get at, right? That, it's interesting to see how the community reacts to different changes in the game, right? Or basically how the game affects the community, just kind of the different ways that the community reacts, so on and so forth, all that. Now, we're going to move on to something that I also think is equally interesting, and something that's like, it's kind of bigger than Dokkan in a way. It's almost like, video gaming itself, this could apply to, but how the community affects the game rather than how the game affects the community. So we're mainly talking about, in Dokkan's case, there's many examples of this, okay? There's specific examples where there's, like actual changes made to cards because of how they operate, right? I.e. Fizz Go tanks and the sort. But then there's also what I would classify as long-term, like, wants from the community that affected the game. For example, more detailed super attacks, right?
Oh yeah.
For a while, people have been like, "Yo, this is the 5th time you've shown generic Kamehameha SA to the class," right? But they've done in more recent times, they've upgraded, they've leveled up, right? Gamers, rise up. And they've made it so that a lot of these new SAs are fire. Every time we see a new one, we're like, oh, that's my new favorite in the game.
Low-key better than the source material sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's literally better than the original, which is crazy.
Yep.
That's also kind of something that, oh no, I don't want to get off topic, but I do want to talk to you about this. Okay, let me finish this thought, and then we'll talk about it later. Remind me to mention that to you, because I do kind of want to fit in here. So, but let's just talk about that. So like, there's other long-term things, right? Like, let me think. So, examples from like some of the surveys that they've done, right? What do you want to see for the game? And that's almost like the game affecting the community, affecting the game, kinda. But, they're asking for community input. So the circle. So, it's still kind of the community affecting game, though. But I always think it's interesting that maybe this is just like, a testament to the human willpower. But, like, I always think it's so crazy to me that, a group of people, they are the players of the game, right? Can change what a giant multi-million-dollar corporation does with their multi-million-dollar product, right?
I mean, yes, but you gotta remember, The multi-millions they have is because the people playing.
True. That is true. So they have to respect the community in some way, right? They have to respect what the community wants. But sometimes they don't. And that's kind of what we clown on Bandai for a lot, that they don't respect the community. But let's take that Gotenks example. So give me the specifics. What happened?
I think Gotenks on his 12 key still did extreme and did 10% health reduction.
And what it got changed to because they rioted?
Supreme, and he raised a stack.
Mm-hmm. So, that's a specific example. Now, 3 things that I can think of for that. 1, do you think that was a good change or a good decision?
I don't know, actually. Well, I did like the mechanic of tech tanks, whereas 12 key had some sort of drawback to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it was a good change in the end. Also, I think his passive would change, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He got less attack.
After the change? Or before?
Before the change.
Gotcha. And then he got more afterward?
Yeah.
And now he's one of the most busted units? Wait, not anymore, but he was.
Well,
kind of, still.
Attack-wise, he's still great.
Yeah.
Defense-wise, he tanks worse than LR Broly.
Greninja and X and Y? Is that you? That was a really specific joke. Anyway, though. So you do think it's a good change, though?
Yeah.
Yeah? So then the other 2 things that come to my mind from that, right? Do you think that the community should have that much power to be able to change what, the company does with their game? Because at the end of the day, it is their game, their property, their licensing, their development. They can do whatever they want. They realistically don't have to listen to the community. Now, obviously, that would be bad for sales and numbers, right? Which we know our friends at Bandai are all about. But at the end of the day, they don't necessarily have to. So it's almost like, too, is it really the company respecting them, or is it the community that has power? Or is it the community that has power over the company? Because they know if they don't listen to the community, then they're not going to do as well in sales.
Interesting.
I would say it's probably that.
If you want my 2 cents personally,
I mean, yeah, that's why you're on the show.
I don't think it's fair that they have to change a unit just to cater to the fan base necessarily.
How come?
Well, because... it's really biased how it... this is just going off the JP player base and how they look at cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how
JP player base meaning, actual Japanese players. Not like me.
Now, see, for something like Gotenks, they rioted over his 12 key.
Mm-hmm.
Or for someone like Future Gohan, nobody batted an eye, because even though he was, and still is, kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, he's trash, yeah.
That's not fair. You're going to complain over one, but not the other.
True.
And, even for the small things, Dragon Fist GT Goku.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have Shine the Limit, and now he has Fierce Battle.
Right, because everyone rioted.
Yeah, I get it. The Shine Limit made unit worse, Fierce Battle made him better, but...
LR Bardock would like a word.
I know, right? It's do you really feel so entitled that you, have to demand something like that to change?
Interesting. And then it's kind of scary because, again, the company knows if they don't listen, they'll just riot even more and they won't buy the character.
Now, for anything else, I feel like fan input is definitely appreciated. All the surveys and stuff like that is amazing.
Right.
But for fans rioting to change units, even if it's for the better, I honestly find that kind of just almost despicable.
Really?
Like, you're gonna, like, the company's just like, oh, hey, here's this cool unit. It has drawbacks. Or, like, they designed it this way. It's just like, oh, no, I don't like that. Change that. Like, I get it. The people are playing the game. But it's called Don't Summon if you don't like it.
And they are spending money, too.
Yeah, it's called, like...
But then...
I don't know.
So I agree with you there. But then if that's the case, yeah, then why wouldn't the company listen to the player base because they know they're going to lose money? Are you saying why complain in the first place?
I'm not saying they couldn't voice their like grievances, but to the level that they do it,
Gotcha.
like it's just like,
bruh.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you're wasting all that effort over a PNG.
I mean,
I get it, Japanese market. They're wild about this stuff, but
we've been talking about PNGs for the past 40 minutes.
There we go, talking, not rioting.
True. Discussing.
Exactly.
So, I do think that is an interesting, like, kind of perspective to take. And then, too, I guess we sort of kind of answered this inadvertently. Seems like we say that a lot on the podcast. I don't know if that's us being hyper intellectual or big dummies. But,
big brain boy.
Big brain. But should the company have to listen to the community? Or I guess, you know...
honestly depends on the situation.
I was going to say we're essentially replacing game with company, but it's basically the same thing. But go ahead.
If the player base is saying like, oh, I want you with 1,000% attack...
Yeah, that's stupid, yeah.
Yeah, like, obviously the company shouldn't listen to that.
Though, do you think they do that if enough people said it?
Maybe by the year 24... Maybe by the year, I don't know, 2040? If the game's even around by then.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
If it is, that'll be an achievement. 35th anniversary looking good.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, wait, what would that be? That would be the 24th, 24th anniversary.
Yeah, looking good.
Dude, Super Saiyan 24 go.
Yeah, maybe then we'll finally have heroes come.
Yikes.
Got him.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It all depends. Like, back on top, it all depends, like, what the demand is. Like, if demand is, like, global players ranting at, like, Bandai being like, where's my 300 Stone 3? Like, should they feel obligated to give anything?
Are you asking me, or is a rhetorical question?
I mean, if you want to answer, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, no. I mean, I think that would be obvious. They don't, like, you know, nothing happened to warrant it.
Yeah, exactly. I know you were about to say, like, they don't deserve it, but...
Hey, don't put words in my mouth.
I understand what you were going, like, that's what you wanted to say, but you know, that was not a good way to say it.
But, like, there's no reason for it, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to be, like, you know, for it to be given out. Speaking,
yeah. It all depends on the demand, like, yeah, that's basically my 2 cents.
Okay. Interesting. So, then let's talk about, we kind of touched on this a little bit. What about then, like, survey type of stuff? Like,
what do you mean?
2 examples that we have, right? You know, we literally chose what Dokkan Fest we wanted, Hit, Kale, or Caulifla. I mean, granted, we ended up getting Hit or Kale and Caulifla anyway, and they blew Hit out of the water. But
I mean, that's different.
I know. I'm just clowning. But nonetheless, though, you know, that's, I would think, obviously a positive thing, right? And then it sort of invokes, well, you know, there's always people who are going to take it too far, right? You know, that's going to be the case with anything that exists in the world. But for the most part, you know, not only did it encourage, you know, everyone to get involved and sort of discuss, you know, what character would be good, what character would be best, you know, for multitude of different reasons, you know, what would bring the, you know, most unique card to the table, you know, what
who's the best waifu?
Of course, Hit, obviously. You know,
looking at you, Shannon.
you know, what's you know, like what characters you know, do we have the most of in the game already? You know, what character deserves a card more than the others, so on and so forth, right? So, you know, but then it also kind of invokes some competitive fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, poking, like we were just, like you literally just did a shadow, right? Kind of like poking fun at him, you know, for having, you know, his opinion
Who
about
said
it
it was?
weekly.
Who said it was a joke?
But, you know, it's like, it's all in good fun, right?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I mean, unless it's not. You got malicious intent? Maybe we should talk about this after the show. No. Oh my god. No, but I mean, malicious intent considering your ad threat in the middle of every single podcast. Anyway, go watch the new JoJo episode, speaking of rape. Anyway, though. Right. It invoked, like, you know, kind of like positive little goofs and gaffes, right? And again, everybody always, you know, there's always going to be some bad eggs that take it too far. Like, your opinion is booty, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do think that invokes some, you know, positive thing. And then, all that sort of, like, banter and community discussion affects the game, right? And I would say, and it turned out in a positive way, right? Definitely. I mean, Hit turned out really good. Seems like...
Yeah.
You know, I would say now that everybody's seen him, they maybe, I don't know, I still think some people think he's kind of bad, but like, I think there's a good amount of people who are like, yeah, this card is really good.
I mean, here's the thing. With Khalifa and Kale, they already had good cards. Like, they weren't the best, but they were good.
Mm-hmm.
Hit didn't have a good card at all. He needed a good card.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'd say you got one. So... I think there's a positive effect in the end. And then let's also talk about the, well, you know, I'm a little bit salty about the fact that I missed the stream, but you know, the Dokkan survey, right? Survey says, and I do think that, you know, obviously that's also a positive thing that, you know, the community is affecting the game by... telling, I don't know how you don't have water. I need to take a drink of this like 20 times already.
Believe me, it's hard.
Get a compilation of me drinking water from this episode, please. Anyway, no. You know, it's good because the developers know what the community wants, you know, where they should go from there, right? Because I'm sure they have some ideas of where they want to go or what they think should be in the game, but I also think that, you know, maybe they don't think the same as the player base because they're not on the same end, I guess. But at the same time, you know, like, it's kind of it's also sort of like brings up the discussion that, you know, who knows better, the developers or the players, which sounds really dumb. You would think like, well, the developers, obviously they make the game, but the people who play the game so much, who like analyze it, comb it with a toothpick, right? Maybe they do know the game better than the developers. That has kind of been shown in certain instances, I will say, but definitely not all the time.
Fair enough.
So, I don't know. I would definitely think that all those things are positive, you know, things that the community does that sort of like, you know, brings good things to the game, right? And, you know, it's always a good thing, you know, it's always good for the game as well, I would think, that, you know, when the community is happy about something, right, and they're excited for a new card, like, I would say that, you know, most people seem pretty excited, just to take an example, right, for this new transforming Super Saiyan Goku. You know, I would say that's always a good thing when people are excited for a card, or, excuse me, maybe even a better example, Kid Goku, right? Everybody was really excited for Kid Goku. Like, wow, the first, like, you know, literally the first Dragon Ball themed Dokkan Fest ever in 4 years of the game's existence. And, you know, all the cards are really good that are coming out of it. You know, the Kid Goku's awesome. His animation is clean. You know, it's a very memorable scene that a lot of people like. And, you know, I definitely think that, you know, that sort of makes the game, or, you know, I guess maybe instead of the game, we should be saying, like, the developers. But, you know, it feeds in them because it's like, okay, well, we're doing something right here, right? So it's sort of just like, I don't know, breathes positive life into the game, I would say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
You feel me deeply. Oh,
Indeed.
let me, so I'm kind of, do you have anything else about this, like specifically before we sort of, I have one last thing I want to think, because I think we got everything we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think I'm good on what I had to say.
Okay. My last little tangent, just because it's sort of relevant to what you were saying earlier about sometimes the super attacks look better than the source material. I want to hear, I know what your opinion's going to be, but I still want to hear your opinion anyway on this. So I was seeing a lot of comments on different platforms of people complaining that the super attack for the new Tech LR transforming Broly was just taken from the movie. How do you feel about that?
That's literally every other super attack.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you want?
Like,
you want generic Omega Blaster 31?
another Tau super, another Dodon Ray?
Yup.
Like the lamest super in the game?
What kind of complaint is that?
It's like, yeah, what does that even mean?
The 300 Stone complaint on Global held more weight than that.
Like, of course it's from the movie or the show. That's the whole point. It's taking cards from the thing that, you know, you like and putting it in there. I don't know if they mean, like, they want it to be more original or... I don't know. Because there are some super attacks that, like, don't necessarily come from anything. Like, the specific scene of, you know, for example, Super Saiyan 3 Goku Xeno, right? Like, that specific Kamehameha doesn't really come from anything, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But at the same time, like, I would say Zamasu's a pretty creative super because it takes different, like, parts of different thing. Like, it has that one chunk of it from the manga, but then there's still a little bit more, right? Or is Int Black's transform super actually from the show? Like, specifically?
Pretty sure.
And everyone's like, yeah, that's fire. Even his normal one is really cool because when he's like looking down at the burning city or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that because I thought that was really dumb. That like you're like complaining that it's from the movie, which is literally what half of the game is. What?
Yeah, like that's like complaining like, oh, there's so many Goku cards.
Yeah, like, he's the main character. There's so many Luffy cards in this One Piece game. Oh man,
I know, right?
So frustrating, dude. There's so many Pikachu cards in the Pokemon trading card game, dude. It's so frustrating. It's not like he's the mascot of the franchise. I don't know. I just wanted to hear your opinion on it just because I thought it was silly, but. Anyway, yeah, I think it's dumb. I only see where they're coming from if what they actually mean is that they think the super attack should be more creative.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like it when they're just like ripped from something because it's sort of like reliving that moment every single time you use the card. And every single time you watch the super, you're like, oh wow, it's so cool. You know, that's from one of my, you know, I mean, I don't know if Broly's Second Coming is anyone's favorite movie, but you know, oh wow, that's, you know, from my favorite movie, Broly's Second Coming. Oh, you know, it's so cool. You know, I love that scene, right?
Yeah. So
I don't know. Just weird. If you word it better, if that's your actual opinion. If your complaint is just it's from the show and I don't like that, then I don't know what to tell you. I literally have no clue what do I offer you? Incense, myrrh. None of that matters. I have nothing to give you. Anyway. Alright. Yeah. Anyhow.
We've rambled long enough.
Anyhow. Yeah, I don't want to run out of. I was trying to make a transition and then I tripped it up and then I tried to recover and now you know what I actually do to hide my goofs. Got him? Question mark?
Got him.
Anyway, though, that's going to do it for our discussion video today. Or discussion video. I mean, kinda, but this episode of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Actually, no.
Yeah, literally. You know, I do kind of like doing these ones where we sort of just like free ball it and just sort of like kind of whatever comes to our head is what we discuss, but it sort of still like ties back to the main topic. I like when we do ones like this because I feel like it allows us to be a little bit more open about our points too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, though, let us know if you guys enjoyed in the comments section below. Definitely be looking forward to the next couple episodes. We have, I don't know if it's going to be next episode or the one after that, but I would like to have a big guest that we've hinted at a lot on the show coming on. So hopefully that will be one of those. We always have more things to talk about, too. Also, too, I don't think we've actually ever said this in an episode, which I don't know how, but if you guys have any topics that you'd like us to discuss, whether it just be me and Kayvon, or, it be one of the episodes where you bring a guest that we've already interviewed back on the show to discuss the topic with us, or if it's, a guest that we haven't had yet, we'll probably have to have an interview with them first, because that's how I like to format it in my head, but I guess could bring them on first and then do an interview. But anyway, logistics don't necessarily matter. If you have a topic that you would like us to discuss, whatever it may be, it could be something that's more like time specific to what's going on in Dokkan at the time, or just something, like a general topic. Definitely let us know in the comments section below, because I don't think we've ever actually...
100%, yep.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually asked that before, which I don't know how.
Which is really
weird,
dumb in retrospect.
Because we usually do that. I don't know. Yeah. Weird. Anyway, though, that is going to do it for this episode of the Extreme Z Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Kayvon, you got any final thoughts?
I got nothing.
Stay hydrated. # drink water.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect.
From all of us here at the Extreme Z Podcast, we will see you in the next one.
See you guys.